Welcome to No Room for Phonies,
Episode
147.
Powerful Phrases for Dealing with Difficult People by Renee Evanson.
This is a follow-up to what we did last time, and her book is way more prescriptive than the other one.
We did the difficult people one before.
So in her book, she talks about needing to value the importance of resolving conflict, because we need to do that if we're going to maintain a strong relationship. So if you value a relationship like a marriage, then you work on the
and you got to resolve. You can't just let things go unspoken.
So she says that conflict basically thrusts us out of our comfort zone.
Yeah, nobody likes conflict. I mean, people say, "Oh, I'm a conflict avoider," or "You always are going," but I think we all.
Yeah, no, nobody goes out in a day thinking, "Oh, I can't wait to resolve conflict." So her kind of way of looking at it is she has powerful phrases plus actions equals successful relationships, and effective conflict resolution equals strengthened relationships. And some of her tips are that you refrain from using the words always or never.
Right. And like other psychologists and therapists, beginning with an I statement is better than you.
Yeah. And avoiding accusatory statements and starting by saying, can we talk? Like, I have something I want to talk to you about, but not... The ones I don't like is like, can we have a chat like in a week?
Without saying about what?
What? About what?
Because then you have a week to ruminate what it might be.
And I've been through that with people, and it's just...
Well, and it's often the passive-aggressive people that do that kind of thing.
Like, well, what do you have a problem with me? Or is there something that's happened or something? Like, that doesn't ever, come out and say it, and
keep the focus on the impact of what you're saying, how they made you feel. And then look for the common ground and a way to build rapport.
And obviously that whole idea of stepping into someone else's shoes and really thinking about empathy. Right. And then she has these phrases of understanding that you can use, like, I realize you didn't do this on purpose. I understand you didn't mean it to sound this way. I can see it from your perspective now. So those are kind of phrases to let the person know that you understand. And then she has phrases of apology that you can read. There's tons of them.
We're not going to go.
A sincere apology, though, holds a great deal of power. And using phrases of compromise is actually the optimum way to resolve a conflict. So everyone needs to remain flexible, ask questions to gain a better understanding, listen with an open mind, gain perspective, and look for middle ground, and negotiating fairly and finding the best solution.
So some of the phrases she suggests are, let's talk this over. And I'd like to hear how you see things.
Since we don't agree, let's lay out the facts and come up with a solution we can both live with. And I think that's a really good one, particularly at work, right?
Yes, and that really does open the door for compromise or arriving at a mutually agreeable thing.
And timing is always important when you're trying to resolve a conflict of any kind. And then at the end of whatever you do, you always need to offer a phrase of resolution, like, I'm glad we talked this out. Now we all have a better understanding and we can move forward.
And I think when you say these things, and you can tell by body language or facial expressions that it isn't really over yet, saying a sentence like this, you can see people bristle or give them a chance to, well, no, not yet.
And just directly asking, is everyone satisfied? Is there anything else we need to talk about? Right. Mm-hmm. It's always a good idea to restate the solution just to avoid people misinterpreting things. And ending everything by saying, like, I'm really glad we talked this out. I value our relationship. And just what you were talking about, nonverbal actions communicate more than you can say. Mm-hmm. And these actions you take, these are the actions that you take as you speak and as you listen, like your own actions.
Right.
and the actions of others.
The interesting thing is when you're under stress, no matter how self-aware you are, I think that there's facial gestures and tones that you're not even aware.
No, exactly. Because
and you can be really self-aware and it's still.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So, I mean, some advice is to always calm down before you approach someone. So you could do some positive, intelligent vagus nerve reset exercises.
Yes. And then always be mindful of personal space.
Be careful with touch.
Control your facial expressions and smile when it's appropriate.
Smile, but don't smirk.
Yeah. Make eye contact and maintain it, and watch your eyebrows.
And don't roll your eyes.
Yes. A nod to give someone feedback and show that you're listening, and make sure your tone of voice conveys the correct message with the pace and the volume. And then avoid upspeak at the end of sentences.
Yep. That's when your tone goes up.
Oh.
When you're finished saying something.
Yeah. You're like, you really think that? Like that says a lot.
Are you sure?
Are you sure? Like that. So assertiveness is a state of mind that's projected outward as confidence and self-assurance. So in order to be assertive, you have to say what's on your mind and carefully choose your words. You have to match your actions to what you're saying, and you have to be respectful towards the other person.
Stand up for yourself constructively and respectfully. Doing that is a learned skill.
Speak with confidence, express views clearly, speak objectively.
Try to stay calm, control your emotions, and don't over-apologize. Difficult for Canadians.
And refuse to be bullied.
I think it's getting less difficult for Canadians.
Yeah, I think so too.
And show respect and consideration.
So 5 steps. So this is her prescriptive way of conflict resolution. View every conflict as an opportunity to grow and strengthen any relationship. Look for successful ways to work through the problem. Work to resolve conflicts when they are still manageable, and maintain self-control and objectivity.
So sometimes though, choosing the timing is important too. Like
it is, but not
like when you're dropping me off at work and
no,
2
true.
minutes. I'm thinking more of early in our marriage when we had one car and tight time crunch for commuting, and we'd have these big discussions, and I want to get out of the car and leave, and you would say, no, we have to finish this discussion.
So never act or speak before you think. That's like huge, right? Mm-hmm. And take time to calm down and control your emotions first.
Look at the situation from all perspectives and stay objective without thinking about conflict.
And then focus on the problem, not the person. Think through the conversation along with likely responses. Although I would say don't overthink.
Yeah, don't over-rehearse because that's not going to go the way
necessarily.
You imagine it. Refrain from taking sides in other people's problems.
Yeah, and try to help the other person objectify the situation rather than make judgments.
Help them with their inner judge.
Yeah, so step 1 in her conflict resolution, there's 5 steps, is to take time and think about a conflict, the personality involved, the response style. Like take time before you go.
If you know the person well, you're going to know how they're going to respond and react.
So then you move into the actual being with the person. Mm-hmm. And the first thing that you want to do is to gain a better understanding of what the person is thinking or where they're coming through from by asking questions, not making judgments, listening respectfully, controlling your emotions, using a calm and soft voice, and not jumping to conclusions, and using I phrases.
Next, define the problems, where you restate the problem and make sure everyone agrees on how the problem is defined.
Yes, and that can take a long time.
I think so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then
it might not happen in one encounter either.
People might have to step away and think about things or whatever. So step 4 is to actually offer your best solution. No personal attacks, no button pushing, no insulting. Ask for agreement. If there is a disagreement, ask for other solutions. Respect everybody's opinion. Don't allow a blame game, and look for common ground, compromise. And the last thing she says is get help if needed. Like if it's going nowhere, you're going to have to get help.
Yeah.
And step 5 is actually to agree on the resolution. So then she goes through all the different kinds of people. And in the book...
Are these difficult people or just...
Difficult people.
Okay, all right.
And so, and actually in the book, she goes through the 5 steps to help you how you
With
can...
each of these.
How you can get through... She gives a lot of examples of how you can use her 5 steps.
We're just going to paraphrase and summarize.
Yeah, so there's backstabbers, don't agree with someone when they are bad mouthing someone else. So that's your strategy. Stay calm, have a conversation, keep the person at arm's length until they have regained your trust.
Okay. Brown nosers, apply peer pressure or ignore them. Take action if the boss seems to be granting special favors to them.
Yeah, and the bully, no one deserves to be bullied and no one should suffer in silence. You have to set boundaries, document, and look for a witness to back you up. Calm, assertive, confident, and candid. Ignore if you can, or tell the person directly that the behavior needs to stop. And often with a real bully, you would literally have to get help.
Then there's the credit taker. Don't be a wallflower and let them take all the credit. Speak up for yourself.
And the criticizer is you can treat it as feedback and examine its validity, but you do need to speak up for yourself.
And then there's the ethics violator. This person feels that the rules are made for everyone else and don't understand the seriousness of ethics. You must stand up to ethics violators. Awareness comes with responsibility. Speak to the person directly and address the impact on others.
And I think this can be really subtle. Like when I was dealing with staff and they would say things like, well, I'm just going to call in sick for something that wasn't a sickness. That's an ethics violation.
Right.
And so I would say, if you do that and then I get asked if you were sick that day, I'm going to say that you weren't, because I am not going to say something like I'm not going to commit fraud. So, and I mean, I think there's other...
Well, sometimes go on.
I think there's just other like examples of those kinds of things. Like,
well, and to me, there's things that are ethics, but then there's things that are counter to the culture or the vision of the workplace. So it's nothing ethically wrong. It's just as a team, everybody kind of has agreed to espouse a particular strategy or opinion or vision, and yet this person goes wayward off.
Yeah, and I think the problem is we don't have these conversations with people about some of these things, and then it just keeps going and going and going, and it destroys the culture of the
team. And people get frustrated with these rogue people a lot.
Yeah. So there's the excessive emailer and the gossip monger. Reply, I don't know enough about this situation to comment. Stay neutral. Be clear that you are not interested in rumors or gossips. Try ignoring gossip. Don't comment. Ask to be left out of the loop. And because you don't want to be identified with them. And excessive email just fills up your inbox, and if it's just silly stuff, you don't have time for it.
Well, an easy strategy with a gossip monger is to say, can I share this with the person you're talking about?
Yeah, it's true. And then there's the know-it-all, is just to use tact and assertiveness. Work at stopping the behavior that's directed toward you. And then they call it the late Nick, always arriving late. Start and end on time, especially for work meetings. Yeah. Don't suffer in silence, but you can be sensitive to personal issues.
So there's a few more of these difficult personalities. The loudmouth. So the loud talker is making sounds like whistling, gum chewing, humming.
Oh, it drives me crazy. Makes me nuts. I have learned, actually last Friday at breakfast, it wasn't a loudmouth, but it was, the person was like,
shaking the table?
Shaking the, like,
behind you.
Yeah. Oh. And it was a bench that was like joined.
Yeah.
And it was actually, and she laughed. And I said to Fran, for a minute, I thought, is Fran doing that? But it wasn't. It was the woman. And so totally unaware, like, if it's your own kid or something, you can put your hand on there, please stop. But anyway, it was just bizarre. And then there's the meeting monopolizer. And it does say that you should interrupt them as they drone on and go off topic and ask too many questions and love to hear themselves talk. And this is where, as a group, if you create meeting norms, that makes it like allows everyone to have a chance to contribute. Yeah, so meeting norms make a big difference in that case. And then there's the mistake maker, where you get tired of cleaning up someone else's mistakes and you understand if they have personal stress, but you can like give them examples of times when you've cleaned up after them. You can offer to mentor and you can listen, but you need to solve these problems. And that's what she's saying. And her theory is that you can solve every problem with these 5 steps.
So next is the negative Nick.
Nelly.
Well, I thought, why keep it feminine?
Oh, Nick, negative Nick. Well, because it was the Nick, the late Nick.
Oh, right. So negative Nathan.
Nathan.
So you can ignore them. Don't try to cheer them up and avoid them. Tell them that you don't want to listen to their negativity and give specific examples.
Personal hygiene offender. Don't be passive, aggressive, speak up, be tactful and respectful.
That one's tricky.
Yeah. The personal space invader is where you can use body language, you can back up, and you can actually take responsibility for your own discomfort. Hey, this is just my personality. I really need some space between, like that sort of a thing.
The slacker. They always seem to fly under the radar, even though they are likable and easygoing, fun and charming, while avoiding work and responsibility. They dodge and evade always and weasel their way out of stuff. So provide dates about the amount of work, provide dates and
data
about the amount of work each team member is doing, and stick to your guns and continue to monitor the situation.
And then there's the TMI, or every little detail about their life, they're often joked about behind their back, but they make others uncomfortable and they don't act professionally. So you have some of those. Whiner, plays the victim, negative Nelly, complains about everything. Ask them to offer a solution to the problem that they're complaining about. Mm-hmm. And do not be a willing participant by listening to all that whining.
And then wimps. The wimps won't change until they're ready to, and they need to learn to be assertive.
And then she does a whole section actually on bosses, like different kinds of bosses.
How to confront them.
Focus on facts. Stay calm and confident and non-threatening and positive. Use constructed language. Respect and no insults. Facts and examples and compromise. So she actually gives a few examples of types of bosses.
So there's the abusive boss, or who criticize and reprimands in a public way. They bully, and in that case, don't take things personally. Set boundaries, speak up, and stop accepting the abuse.
I actually had someone who was like that, and I actually did that. I said, please don't. If you have something to say to me, that's fine, but
not in public.
Not in public. So there's the controlling boss that doesn't want to be challenged. They don't want suggestions. They're authoritative. You can speak respectfully and ask for help, like prioritizing if you don't understand.
Yeah. The egotistical boss takes all the credit for the team, and accomplishments and failures are never their fault. So what you can do is, and they always look out for their own interests.
Yeah.
So
and they see great employees actually as a threat.
So you can showcase your achievements regularly, which they might take as a threat.
Yeah. Incompetence, the incompetent boss is, you need to be proactive and positive and offer to help and document conversations. Never complain. Look for teaching opportunities that will help your boss. And then there's the inconsistent
boss, there's unpredictable, and you never know where you stand.
And so you don't take it personally, but you explain confusion. Mm-hmm. There's the micromanaging boss who hovers and shows lack of trust, give guidance on everything, and
to respond, you demonstrate reliability, communicate more, and take on extra tasks.
Yeah, that communication.
And at some point, you can say, "Hey, I don't the boundaries. Stop micromanaging me."
Yeah,
or ask, "Do you not trust me?"
Yeah, and then there's the non-communicative boss, and focus on a specific example and resolve that. Engage more with the boss and ask more questions. Be proactive. Engage with the boss as a human being and ask for feedback in regular meetings. and take joint responsibility for improving the communication.
The passive boss, they want to please everyone and they allow others to make decisions. They avoid conflict, have very low expectations, and give ineffective feedback. And from that, problems fester and grow. They seem aimless, disengaged, and afraid to take risks. And they say things like, I hope everything will be okay, or that's how they think.
Hardworking employees get very frustrated with this kind of a boss. And so you have to be direct about problems that need to be dealt with. And that's where those 5 steps come in. The reactive boss lacks critical thinking skills and is constantly in a crisis mode. We all know people like that. So you offer a constructive compromise. Don't get pulled into the wild ride, and don't constantly mollify knee-jerk reactions.
And then the difficult one, that is the unethical boss who disregards company policy, has lied and cheated their way to success, and in that case, always voice your opposition in writing and explain why you're unable to comply, and document everything. So I just want to say, being a boss at the moment, it's pretty hard to be kind. Opposite of controlling is enabling, egotistical, humble, competent, balanced between managing and not managing, consistent, communicative, active, non-reactive,
and ethical.
Well, it's easy to be ethical, but the others, to be all of them every day consistently, is very hard.
No, and that's why you have to look at people as a human being, right? But you also, if you're open to someone coming and saying, hey, I didn't understand why you said that or why you did that, and having these conversations where you increase understanding and come to a, like if you do follow those 5 steps, it does help.
And if you choose key people to say, hey, come and tell me.
If I'm I always did that.
Yeah.
And you also can't change other people's issues either.
No.
Like sometimes it's not about you as the boss.
Exactly.
So then she also gives some powerful phrases for situations that you actually have caused. And they say she says, always take the initiative and head the other person off at the pass, like before they confront you. Like if you can actually head it off,
right?
You know you've done something. Don't wait for somebody to come to you. Go to them and apologize. How do you respond when someone who angrily or emotionally blames you for something? You have to take a step back. You have to rein in your emotions. You have to breathe. You have to have an open mind to the feedback and look at it from another perspective and put aside the ego and pride. And then she goes, and just to end off, she talks about following the 5 steps. Think first.
So choose your words widely. Avoid anger, resentment, and defensiveness. Don't interrupt. Just listen. Watch your body language and pause and stay calm.
And then gain a better understanding. Ask open-ended questions. Define the problem. Thank the person for the feedback. Remain objective. Answer questions. Say, I'm sorry this happened. Offer compromise.
Third, define the problem. So you really reiterate the other person's concern, recap the other person's concerns in words, define your perspective, and explain why you behaved the way you did.
And then you offer the best solution. You create some dialogue. You remain flexible. You compromise. You keep the dialogue on track. In the worst case scenario, you would agree to disagree.
And try to agree on what the resolution would be. So offer a phrase of resolution and reconciliation, or offer a phrase of resolution suggesting that you agree to disagree and let go of the issue. And that way you can move forward.
Without something coming between you. So I do like the 5 steps. I think it's very, if you can, use those in your brain, that it does help. If you go into the situation trying to, with a good mindset, trying to understand the other perspective, defining the problem, offering a solution, and agreeing on a resolution, like that's, if everybody can get into that, like
a lot of things could move forward. In a lot better.
And negative feedback is positive if it's accurate and equals growth. If it's not accurate, then it strengthens your conflict resolution skills. So the question always becomes, going forward, what can I do differently to avoid this from happening again? And that's
whether
our
or
own,
not it's you causing it or you on the receiving end.
Doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It's that thing.
Yeah,
so I would really, it's a good
book.
I think it just gave a little bit more of a prescriptive kind of way of looking at things. So on November 15th, there's a book called Aging Great. Well, we're going to start talking about in November, Aging Gracefully.
Mm-hmm.
And the book worth reading is How to Be Old by Ken Kuzik. And it's really a good book. But I'm really interested in this topic because I often hear, oh, well, that just happens to you when you get old. Oh, when you get old, you can't do this.
And you just settle.
And I'm not prepared to do that. And in fact, in my Pilates now, I can do this one thing that I've been working on for over a year.
Mm-hmm.
And
now you can do
and
it.
I can do it, like completely do it. And I'm one of the oldest people I think there that can do it. And I still want to be doing it in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you can settle or you can, and I'm not saying that some things don't happen to you. Of course they do. Like it is, but you can still be strong, flexible, and maybe not as flexible, but you can still be strong and have balance, good balance,
mm-hmm.
and fill your body with good things.
Exactly.
So anyway, in November, we're going to do Aging Gracefully. So thanks for joining us for the month of October and talking about difficult people and how to deal with them in your life.
There's time changes coming soon. Daylight savings.
Yep. And happy Halloween.
And happy Halloween.